Hey guys, and welcome to another Intero Real Estate Agent Insight. In this episode, we have one of our seasoned agents, Jesse Gomez, share with you guys his routine, mindset, but most importantly, how he's been able to innovate to thrive during this changing market. So guys, take notes, get ready to turn, let's go! So welcome back to another Intero Real Estate Agent Insight look, guys, and I'm super excited for our guest today because actually he's been in the business for a while now, and we're really gonna get deep into some of the mindsets, some of the most important aspects of our business and what it really takes to become a thriving real estate agent right now. So with that being said, I'm super excited to have Jesse Gomez with us, man. How we doing, Jesse?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing awesome. I'm blessed and excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. I know that with your busy schedule and, with everything that you're doing and the great things that you're doing in real estate, man, just making this time is awesome, bro.
Absolutely.
So let's get to it, man. I know that, people want to know and people want to learn and people out there, agents especially, want to really understand what it takes to become a thriving agent versus a surviving agent.
Yeah.
Right? So when you think of a thriving agent versus a surviving agent, Jesse, what do you think?
The first thing that comes to mind is love what you do. Mm-hmm. Everybody says it all the time, right? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. In this business, I found that most definitely waking up every morning and really enjoying picking up the phone and knowing that you got to do this for a couple of hours at least, it's key.
Okay, good. Key. So let's talk about that. What do you feel, or what do you know are some of the consistency aspects, or maybe some of the items that as a real estate agent you need to do on a daily basis, no matter what? These are non-negotiable.
Non-negotiables for a real estate agent: workouts, read something, feed your mind with good positive stuff, and prospect. You gotta make those calls, especially right now that you can't door knock, you can't really do much other than make calls. Do it.
Wow, and that was actually surprising, guys, because in my head I was like, he's gonna say prospecting first, right? Mm-hmm. A certain amount of dials or calls, but you actually said workout first. Why working out? Why is working out so important for you?
For me, it's important because it starts the day off with a win. Every time that you finish a workout, you feel good about yourself. You're already feeling like, hey, this day is gonna be an amazing day. And so that prepares not only your body, but your mind. So whenever you start hitting the phone, you're already set, you're already prepared, you already have a winning mentality. And
I agree, man. It's a great way to really kickstart, first of all, your metabolism, your energy levels, right? Which overall is going to help you have clarity, and most importantly, confidence. Right now, we're dealing in an era where most people are spending their time on their phones and on their computers, where most of our prospecting is done on phones and the computers right now, right? Yeah. So I definitely agree with you. And then you said reading. Why reading is so important to you?
Well, because there's a lot of stuff out there right now. Like you said, everybody's on their phone, and so the majority of the stuff on your phone is junk, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just the way it is. Nobody's gonna tailor your day or your phone or your alerts to come up with positive stuff. It's all gonna be that bad stuff: the COVID, the election, the this, the that, right? So it's your responsibility, right? At least for myself, it's my responsibility to pick up a book, something that's gonna be positive, something that's gonna give me that clarity and offer that guidance to handle or whatever is going to come up through the day.
Being the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper.
Yeah, so you're just really good at being the gatekeeper of what's coming in.
Well, I have to. Have to.
Yeah. In the mind.
Yeah, because we think about it as being shot at every day with a bunch of junk, right? So it's up to us to be able to protect our own mindset.
And that's huge, man, because I think that, we're very easily influenced, right? Any level, right? We're easily influenced by media, by social media, by, the things that we read, our loved ones, our friends, our environment. I mean, even ourselves, between ourselves, right? Either we're feeding ourselves a positive or a negative outlook of what's happening, right? And why is that so important?
Well, think about it this way. It's important because if you got to make 100 dials and 80 of those are going to be no's, you got to be prepared for that so that you don't give up on the third or fourth or fifth no, so that you don't give up on the 25th no, so that you continue to push forward because clients are there.
Yeah.
The families to help are there. Just got to get through all the other stuff.
Now, obviously, real estate for you, when you first got into this business, it hasn't always been easy.
Oh, no.
Right?
No.
I mean, obviously you brought up dials, you brought up conversion, you brought up, hey, I got to prepare myself, but it wasn't always like that.
No, no,
Right?
no.
What was it like before when you first got into the real estate business?
Oh my God, it was so challenging. It was finding the words to say, finding the way to connect with the other person. It was just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. The biggest thing that I had to change was myself. Within myself, the energy that I'm putting out, because you can feel it. You know, when you make a call and you're frustrated, the other person can feel that frustration.
Oh, yeah.
But if you feel good and you make that call, then they're going to start feeling that. And so the conversation is different.
Okay.
So that was the biggest challenge. Was it's not about doing the work, it's about being in the right mindset, being prepared for the work.
So what have you done then since the beginning to now to kind of go through that transformation?
So what I've done is I've established a schedule for myself, something that's consistent, because once you change it a little bit, it throws you off your game. So it has to be consistent. You have to have a good night routine, you have to have a good morning routine, and then you have to have your time sets, your time blocks for dedicated to the stuff that's going to pay off in the future, right? And it's important to have. You can't have a good night routine and not have a good morning, right? Because one feeds the other.
Yeah.
A good night routine feeds a good morning routine, and then that transitions over to the night. So that's important for me.
I agree, and I feel like most people, right? Most people charge their phones once a day. Right? And most people will treat themselves just like a cell phone. They charge themselves once a day.
Yeah.
Now, we know the difference between a cell phone and us is that if you charge your cell phone once a day, even at 50% is still going to function the same way if the energy was at 100% or at 10%.
Right.
But for us, it's very different.
Extremely different.
For us, it's very different as human beings, right? We can't function the same at 50%. We can't function the same at 20%. Right? So like you said, preparation in the morning, preparation even in the afternoon or in the evenings is very important as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about your routine, because you keep bringing up routine. Because I'm a strong believer that your routine is your identity.
Right.
Okay? So what is your structure of your routine right now?
So my morning starts with, there's the 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes of reading in the book, right? That's just the way it starts for me.
Oh, awesome.
And then I get into the gym, do my workout. When I come out of there, I do a little breakfast, get in the shower, get cleaned up, and then I start doing my role play in the morning.
Okay.
Start doing my phone calls, and I don't plug in reading in the morning other than the little bit I read in the Bible. I don't plug any reading in because, like you said, I got to recharge myself sometime during midday.
Okay.
So during midday, I'll pick up a book, and that will continue to give me some battery, give me some, energy to continue with the day.
Yeah.
And then typically I'll do showings in the afternoon, check with inspections, whatever the case may be. But that's really the way it's tailored. And in the evening, I definitely have a cutoff time where I say, all right, I got to start winding down, prepare for my night routine, because it's important.
Yeah. So when you say you have a cutoff time, what does that mean? I have a cutoff time. Cutoff from what?
So typically cut off from doing any type of work activity. I feel like balance is important. Some people will say, no, you shouldn't, you should always be, but whatever works for other people, right? This is what works for me. I have a time where I say, hey, no more work from this point till I wake up. There's no more work. And so, typically I'll...
And obviously that's important too, man, because just like me, you're a father too.
Right.
You have kids. So obviously having the cutoff time is very important. And I agree with you, man, because, we can easily get lost in this industry, right? And,
right. There's not enough hours in a day to finish what we got to do, right? So,
I'm a big believer, man, that it's all about the intensity. It's all about the intention. Would you agree? You can realistically be really good in this industry if you were to focus 2 to 3 hours a day in this business.
For sure. My routine allows me to have so much free time, and that's only because during the time that I'm set to do something, I'm fully in it. Fully in it. I'm not jumping around to other stuff. Like during my prospecting time, that's what that is. I'm fully engaged in that, and that allows me to free up the rest of my day and just, sometimes I don't do anything. I just hang out, rest, go golf and do something that has nothing to do with work. And so But it's all thanks to that moment that I was 100% in on it.
All in, intentional for
That's
those
it.
2-3 hours, right?
That's it.
I'm gonna say that again, guys. I mean, I'm really gonna say that because you can be successful in this real estate business if you were intentional, right? And the intensity for those 2-3 hours, and you went all in, like Jesse said. If you're able to go all in just for those 2 or 3 hours and commit yourself, you can really be successful in this real estate business. Because I feel, Jesse, that a lot of agents are not fully engaged because there's just so many distractions.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We allow so many distractions. Obviously, we know all distractions come in different shape, forms, things, people, right? That, we don't know how to protect ourselves, be the gatekeeper of how to push these people and how to say no maybe to certain things, right? So, I mean, let's talk about some of the distractions that, you had to kind of push away.
One of the biggest distractions is texting. When somebody reaches out and it's just like a friend or whatever, they just want to BS around for a little bit. To be able to say like, no, not right now. I got to work. Especially, man, the hardest part is when you're not having the call blast that you wanted to have, right? When you're going through those valleys where you're getting a bunch of no's, you're getting hung up on, you're getting told off. It's easy for you to just say, you know what? Screw this. What's up? What are you guys doing? Let's hang out. Yeah. So easy to do that. Those are the moments where we got to say like, no, put this away. I got to stick to it. Yeah. Got to stick to it.
And I feel that, the word integrity comes up when you say that, right?
Integrity?
Yeah, the word integrity comes up because who are you to yourself, right? And I think that's the only person that you have to prove yourself to, right? Is who are you to yourself? And integrity is surrounded by who you really are to yourself when nobody else, nothing's around, right? And I think that at that moment, like you said, when I'm making phone calls, right, and nothing's going my way, do I tell myself the story that, dude, this is not working, let me go? The distraction of my friends, family, whatever it is, right? For me to go do and take care of is going to pull me away from that potential yes or that potential no, and cut your session short, right? Versus say, look, let me just finish this through because that's what I'm committed to, right? So do you feel that those distractions always come in, especially in those specific times when you're like maybe not getting the results that you're looking for, or do they come all the time, period?
I'm going to say it this way. We get tested when it counts the most. And that is going to mean that you're in the gutter, man, and you're going to get tested.
Most people are always on a journey to find true freedom, right? But I also feel that true freedom means different things to different people based on where you're at and what point of your life, right? What state or what stage of your life. What did freedom mean to you before you got into real estate?
It just meant being in control of my schedule, and the career that I had before, I thought gave me that. But the reality was, it wasn't the freedom that I was really looking for. In this industry, I have the freedom to say, if I get a phone call from my kids, man, I don't have to ask anybody, and I'm able to jet out right away. But that's not really the freedom part of it. The freedom part of it is that I'm able to leave and not worry about my work falling apart because I focus on what I had to do that immediately in the morning, right? So whenever I walk away, the hard work that I'm putting in gives me the freedom to feel comfortable walking away from my work and saying it's all good. It's going to be okay. It's just a different level, man.
Yeah. And I agree with you, man, because before, going and getting into real estate myself, there was always this feeling inside where I left work and it was like everything's gonna fall apart, right. And you had that urgency to get back to work, right? And I was never really present when it came to the things that I had to leave to go to do, right? Now you can leave and know that again, work is still moving, the process is still moving, and there's nothing to get back to. You're your own boss, you're your own individual, you're the one that, it's gonna, depending on your activities, right, and your efforts, right? And as long as you can put those efforts and those activities and you can leave with your heart, then, you're moving in the right direction, even if it's with the family, wherever it is, right?
That's it.
And I think that's that's the key to true freedom.
Absolutely.
True freedom.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling. Yeah, man. Let's talk about business itself. Let's talk a little bit about, what you're doing now, because, I feel that, again, with everything that's going on, right, there's two, just like we know there's people that are ready to buy, and there's people that say, I can't buy. You're 50-50 right now.
Right.
Same thing with real estate agents. Either they're thriving or they're surviving.
Right.
Right now, and I've told you this before, right? Right now, I feel that we've experienced this tidal wave, right, of buyers.
Yeah.
and buyers are falling on real estate agents' laps, right? And people are waiting for it to happen. They're waiting for escrows to happen for them. They're waiting for the call of somebody to say, hey, I want to buy. Hey, give me a call back and let's go buy a home, right? Versus real estate agents who are thriving are actually out there making it happen. Where are you right now? Are you somebody that's waiting for it to happen, or are you somebody that's making it happen? If you're making it happen, how are you doing that?
So what I'm doing to make it happen is not only am I making the cold calls or the reaching out and trying to bring in new leads, but the follow-up. The follow-up really is the most important, because if you say to somebody, hey, I'm going to call you, but you don't want to say, you call me back after you feel like you're ready. Like, no, I'm going to give you a call. Sometimes you get, the call that says, let me call you after work. What time do you get off work? I'll call you, right? So it's about staying on top of the follow-up. And if you say to somebody, hey, I'm going to have this person reach out, the lender, right? I'm going to have the lender reach out to talk to you a little bit about that. And then I'm going to touch base with you afterwards. You better make sure you call that lender first. Hey, how did it go? Make sure that you get all the information. Then you get that follow-up call. And you say, hey, so what's up? What's going on? Right? So really what I'm doing to stay on top of it and make it happen is my follow-up, man. My follow-up is strong. Even if it's just to say, hey, how you doing? You still interested? You're still waiting? All right, I'm gonna call you back in a couple of days. And that's it.
So you're mastering the follow-up right now. That's really where your success is coming from, the follow-up game, right? Okay, perfect, man. So right now, where are most of your leads coming from right now?
Well, ever since COVID, right, the leads are coming from the internet, social media. What are people doing right now? They're at home. What do people do regardless, right? COVID or not? We're on the phone, right? So that's where the majority of my leads are coming from. Somebody just, hey, I want to see some houses. Hey, this is Jesse. I'm ready to show you houses. Let's talk a little bit about the process first. But that's really where the majority of my business is coming from right now. So, and then there's referrals and the other good stuff, but especially during these times, that's going to be the number one source.
And I feel that that's something that I think a lot of agents were exposed to, right? How before COVID, you could easily say, no, prospecting is not my thing, cold calling is not my thing, right? And you could survive without doing it, right? Because there was networking events, there was open houses. There was, you could be at the friend's party, at the mom's party, restaurants, wherever you went, right? So you were just trying to connect with people everywhere. That was pulled away from everybody.
Oh yeah.
Right? Everybody pulled away from it.
And that's where you saw a lot of people back off. Whenever this first started, man, I remember, people were telling me, wow, you're still working? You're actually working? Like, yeah, I'm still working.
And I think you actually had one of your most successful months, that March,
I did.
That second part of March when COVID started.
I did.
Right?
As soon as I realized that other people were kind of backing off because they didn't know what to do, man, I took advantage and I hit it harder, and it paid off. It paid off in a big way. So always be ready for the opportunity and jump on it. Jump on it.
Your speed of adaptation is going to dictate your speed of success. I mean, I think that's the sentence that keeps coming up to my head, is that the faster you can adapt to how fast this market or this business is changing, the faster you can be successful. And right now it's COVID. Right, but then we have elections, and then we have Christmas. So there's always something shifting, right? There's always something shifting. So staying on top of that, it's really what I think for me puts agents in the forefront, because they're constantly changing with the trends. They're constantly evolving with the trends.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're doing, man. I mean, that's what I'm hearing right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're definitely evolving with that. So now that you're in this real estate business, now that you're running this, now that you're making it, an income, and you're actually building your business, right?
Right.
How has your mind evolved from an employee? Because at the end of the day, we were employees, even at the management levels. Even if you were a manager at the corporate world, you were an employee, right? But now you're here. How's your mindset changed or shifted from an employee to a business owner?
The first thing that comes to mind is my level of service has just skyrocketed. Why? Because it's all on me. It's just, there's like you said, there's no clock in time, clock out time. There's nobody telling me, hey, you got to do this. It's all on me. So if I am gonna offer my services to somebody, then it's just I'm gonna go above and beyond. And not that I didn't do it before, but this time it's like, hey, you're building a reputation for yourself, and some of the business is gonna come from these people, future business, but at the same time, you know, the way that you service them will leave an impact, and they'll return, they'll come back, right? Not only that, my level of service when it comes to working with other agents, working with lenders, that's also been something that has improved. Why? Because relationships matter. In this business, relationships matter. You want to be able to have a good relationship with the listing agent if you're going to submit an offer, because that could determine whether your offer gets accepted or not, right? And it all starts there. Yeah. So I would say that it's definitely expanded my goal to be at a higher level of humility.
And it's crazy that you say that, Jesse, because you wouldn't expect that from a real estate agent to say, hey, my number one priority is service right now.
Yeah.
I think most people would say, hey, my number one priority right now is to generate more opportunities for myself. And you say, no, this is an opportunity for me to better my service, right? And that's actually big, because I do agree with you about the market right now. The market right now, it's first of all, it's a market that nobody's experienced, right? So even if you've been in the business for 30 years, right, doesn't matter, right? This is something you haven't experienced, right? But I agree with you. In this market right now, it's who you work with, first of all, matters, and also what kind of reputation follows you. Yeah. Because like you said right now, before, and I'll agree with you, before, the name wasn't your name, right? But now it's your name, right?
My name, yeah.
It's your name, Jesse Gomez, and everything that you do through social media, through your experiences. So, you know, service is definitely, I agree with you, it's one of the pioneers to scaling.
Oh yeah.
To scaling your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And that just, I mean, if you think long term as well, long term, because like you said, repetitive business, future business, I'm cultivating my business for the future.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what are you doing right now to cultivate business?
Well, to cultivate business is just basically, you know, the touchbacks, people want to feel like they matter, you know, whether they're past clients, even new clients, right? They want to feel like they matter. So the best way to make them feel like they are important is to remember them, right? So how do I cultivate? Again, it's the follow-up, right?
Yeah.
And it's the hello, the refinancing right now is big. As an agent, I get nothing out of a refinance, but I have clients that will benefit they will benefit from it.
Refi right now.
Yeah, big time, right? So that's the call limit. Hey, you might want to check this out. And so how is that cultivating? Because then this person is going to say, you know what? This guy wasn't in it for just the money. This guy is providing a level of service that goes beyond the close of escrow. And that's key right there, going beyond that, beyond the end of a transaction, because the clients that I work with, you're not a transaction, right? You're a person, and it was a pleasure.
And I agree with you, man, because, you know, I've always had that same mindset where I felt like the real relationship started as soon as we gave them keys. Or as soon as we gave a seller a check, right? That's when the relationship really started, right? The follow that you said touchbacks, right? The touchbacks, the follow up, the building relationship after that, because that's where the referrals come in. They don't come in during the transaction; they come in after the transaction, right? What else can you share with us that you know is really impacting your career in a positive way?
Oh man, it happens I think it happens in every job. Is you fall into these ruts. I think it's key right now to know when you fell into a rut, and it's key to know how to get out of it, right? Okay. It's extremely important to be able to pull yourself out of that, because that can cost you. I mean, you go down this rabbit hole, and when you realize, you're like, whoa, what the heck happened? Right? So it's important to catch yourself when you're about to get into that rabbit hole, and pull yourself out. You know, if you need to change up your environment, do it. Do whatever you need to do. But it's definitely important. If you're reading a book that's not talking to you, put that book down, get another one. If the book is not working, watch videos. You know, do whatever you got to do to get yourself out of that rut. Because that's a big killer. It's a big silent killer that we don't catch typically until it's late. You know, it's too late.
Because now it's by choice now, right? I think that, you know, by choice you have the opportunity to pull yourself out in a way where you can say, look, you know, where I'm at, which is the environment, or number two, the people that I'm surrounded with.
Right.
Number
Yes.
3,
Oh, yes.
what am I feeding myself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
TV, maybe you're spending too much time on TV. You're spending too much time on your cell phone, right? So what are you really doing, right? Like you said, to pull yourself out of that rabbit hole. You know, I think that the first step, like you said, was that awareness.
Right.
That self-awareness, right?
Self-awareness.
Number 2 is that acceptance. Okay, I'm there. Now, number 3, can I shift? How can I shift from this, right, to this other one?
Exactly.
And obviously, I mean, I think that we all can agree that, you know, it's easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's easier
By
said than
far.
done. But with enough practice, with enough, commitment, it becomes easier and simpler to do that, right? I mean, it's just like working out.
That's it.
It's just like getting on the treadmill. You get on the treadmill the first time, 5 minutes, you're done. You're like,
you're
hey,
done.
quit, right?
Yeah.
Same thing like getting on the cell on phone calls, right? You do 5, you're like, this is not for me.
That's it.
Right? But then the goal is to do 6 calls, 7 calls, 10 calls, 20 calls. Then pretty soon you realize you're doing 100 calls.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I agree with you, man. Perfect, man. Well, you know, how can people get a hold of you, Jesse?
You can find me on my Facebook, on Instagram. Easiest way, 661-713-5976. Give me a call. I'm easy to find. You know, I'm not hard to find. I don't hide. I'm always available. And even if it's just a question, and then you end up running and working with somebody else, it's all good. Like for me, it's all good because it all comes back, right?
Yeah.
Whatever good you put out, it's gonna come back. And even if it doesn't come back directly from you, I'll get it from somebody else. So that's it. That's my
Perfect,
motto.
man. Well, I appreciate the time, man. You know, definitely thank you for giving us the insight of what it's like to be a thriving agent right now, man. I feel that there's very few agents who are willing to share, man, and that's something that I definitely, honor from you because you're always willing to share. You're always willing to give. You're always say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. Here you go. And, I see that with I see how you do that with other agents in our office. So, I'll leave you with this last question, man. Why should people, consider Intero?
Why should people consider Intero, the role playing in the morning? I know that there's a lot of other places that offer the role play in the morning, but when you're surrounded by people that are in on it as much as you are, man, that just takes it to a whole nother level. And Intero, they're in on it as much as you are. They want to grow. Every individual you talk to wants to get better, and they all share best practices, what's working for them, what isn't working. I mean, I can call somebody that I don't even know and just say, hey, I saw you on the role play. You talked about this. Can you tell me more about it? And they're all willing to do it. It's just phenomenal, the support that you get from everybody there.
Who would you recommend for real estate agents, right, to get in? Who would you say I recommend Intero to who? To what type of agent?
To any type of agent that feels like you can do more, but you don't know how to do it, reach out to Intero. Any agent that you have the drive, you have that fire in the belly, but you're just stuck, you're in that rut, reach out to Intero. Any agent that wants to level up, take your business to the next level, become a master listing agent, whatever the case may be, reach out to Intero. They have all the tools, they have all the skills, they have all the support.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, again, man, I appreciate your time, Jesse, and I know that we see a lot of great things for you as a real estate agent. You've moved, man. You've moved mountains for your clients. This quantum leap in your business because of the person you've become. So, man, I'm so proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Wow, there you have it. Jesse Gomez sharing some golden nuggets with you guys. I hope that you took some good notes and you can take something back to implement immediately to impact your business. See you on the next one.